Now, you are embarking on a new project of personal coaching, you've mentioned already, related to 7 steps to loving your life. Now, who are these 7 steps for?
Well, there's different ways to look at it. It's basically, I'm kind of seeing myself as a change expert because part of my story, it's on my website, is that at one point in my life I was overweight, alone. I could never keep a relationship, smoking on my way to cancer and diabetes. Almost ended up living on the street, like basically penniless, and ended up on social security, and basically that's close to 20 years ago. So you could say my life was in the dumps, to be very polite there, and I've hit bottom. I was basically scraping the bottom, and and today, I'm a homeowner. I actually have a nice condo. I don't have any mortgage. Like, I paid almost all of it cash, like a friend said yesterday. I don't have any debt. Last year, I had somebody prepare my tax for me, and he says, Guy, you're an exception. I say, how come? He said, well, most Canadians are in debt. I say, oh, I don't know that. It's like, yes, and and married, have a beautiful daughter, and I'm giving love as a clown. And, so I said, I say, what I've experienced for myself, this life transformation, I say, well, can I give it to other people? Can I, give the ropes, give a roadmap to the people to help them achieve the same thing? I don't feel I've done anything special. I've just had a road to travel. And this idea is to show people that it's any situation can be resolved, any situation can be worked through, and success will come at the end. The rainbow, the pot of gold. It is possible. It's just a nice success story, and I felt that what do I want to do with my life? I don't want to do stuff just for me. There's no point actually. Part of the story with this is that I went back to Guatemala last March, and clowning is always a very hard. It takes a lot of energy and emotions and feelings. So I went to the beach side for just a couple of days to get everything inside of me, take time to see clearly. And after 3 days, it's like, okay, now I must leave the beach. I cannot stay there any longer because I found my calling. And my calling is to help people. My calling is to love people. So I'm coming back to Montreal, and these AATH, the Association for Applied Therapeutic Humor, which is a beautiful group. And I asked myself, what's the best way I can help people? So I figured, I've been giving lectures for the last 5 years with a lot of humor. I feel I'm kind of an expert in the change process. So the idea is, how can I make this change process easier, more clear for the people? So I've kind of developed a 7-step roadmap, which is called 7 Steps to Loving Your Life. I've started a website. You can actually already download a worksheet, which is going to help you think through. And so this is for everyone, and I'm also working on for business also, to like a change expert. Yes, for business. So there's one for the general community as a inspiration expert, but also this, what happens if your business comes into a crisis situation, or you feel you're not growing anymore, or the competition is eating you up. Or, there's so many circumstances that the business, we live in such a fast-paced, changing world now, that these changing process I've developed for myself and for the people is also a kind of roadmap that can be applied to business enterprises. So I'm kind of developing both, with the idea that the more I do this, then the more I will be able to do volunteering, clowning in the end. So it's always like I give the lectures, I'm hired for the lectures for companies and stuff, and the idea is that with this I promote humanitarian clowning on my side. So I give on one side, and from what I get, I give on the other side.
You give again. You give again.
I give again. I give again. Yeah, exactly.
So what are these steps? What are these 7 steps? What is the first step? How would someone start this roadmap? And I love that term, roadmap, because it really is a journey, right, to get to whatever it is that's going to give you happiness.
I'm just going to give you the 7 right away, and then we can work through them. So the first one is called acknowledge that it is not right. Just acknowledge it's not right. Something's wrong there. Second step is accentuate the positive. Third step is learn your story. Fourth step, discover your passions. Fifth step, we mentioned a bit before, find your tribe. Sixth step, one that some people are very familiar, is letting go. And the 7th step is where I feel I contribute the most, is reboot and launch. And I'll get back to that, like why is the 7th step for me is the one that makes the major difference from many other program or approach. It's this idea of reboot and launch. So the first step, acknowledge that it is not right. It's in my art exhibition, I like the play on words. So it's when I say it's not right, it's just to say something's wrong, But I don't want you justify. You don't need to. And that's the thing about my approach. Never focus on the negative. It's not necessary. So just acknowledge, okay, you feel you're overweight. You feel you're alone. You feel you've got maybe a smoking habit. You feel you cannot connect with people. You just feel something is not right. Now, and I like this idea of right because during my years, something that really helped me find myself was to say, well, what is the Charter of Human Rights? Because most of us couldn't even enumerate the Charter of Human Rights. So once you actually see this list of human rights, not only food and shelter, but education, and also about protection from violent acts and stuff like that, it's like, you can learn from school or city, okay, or morality, you shouldn't be living this, or, people shouldn't do this to you or live in such an environment. But when you actually see it in black and white, and you know that these rights have been voted, then you know that you're more than right to say, I don't agree with what is happening to my life now. So it's actually about, the first step is acknowledging that it's not right what's happening to you, but that's actually that most people would agree, and that then you will have people helping you getting out of it. So second one, accentuate the positive. When you focus on the negative, you get more on the negative. When you try to fix the negative, it takes willpower. And I have nothing against willpower, but I think willpower is quite overrated, because there's judgment value, or, it's my fault, or I shouldn't, I couldn't. All these verbs are connected to willpower, and I don't like that. So accentuate the positive in my approach is the idea that there's little things you can do 5 minutes a day. One of them is called heart math. Maybe you know this. It's a kind of very easy relaxation breathing technique. There's just little things that you can do. Basically, instead of focusing on the negative, there's little techniques, and in my book, eventually, I will outline these little things you can do that will easily reinforce you. And it's like, before you make a move, it's important to actually just become a bit stronger.
Are you talking about accentuating the positive about you? So becoming aware of what's good about you, what's good in you, your strengths. Is that what you mean by that?
That's part of it, but that's also positive thinking or positive psychology. And that again is like willpower, which I tend to stand away from that. But it's actually little simple exercise that make you feel good. Like laughter yoga. There you go. There you go. I mean, you can be, that's it. Thank you. No, that's an amazing question because, there's so many things happening information. But this is where I would actually talk about laughter yoga. And you're going to have other shows where we're going to talk about laughter yoga. But because laughter yoga doesn't matter in which state of mind you're in the present, doesn't matter where you are in your life, anybody will benefit from going to laughter yoga. Even if the first step is just going and you're not even laughing, but you'll end up smiling. And that smile is a key to smiling more, and then smiling more, and then laughing more. So laughter yoga is in that step number 2. It's one example. So you do stuff that makes you feel that makes you accentuate the positive, but you don't need to focus on the negative. Stay away from the negative. That's not the point. Okay. Third step, learn your story. Now, this is where writing, for example, getting down to what do you feel, that's part of the process. Why do you feel you're at this present crossroad, this present point in your life? Okay, but that's only half the story for me. The other half, and where it's very important for me to focus, is to actually, your story is you are a human being. Now, what does this mean, to be a human being? A human being means, first of all, it's about cosmology. It's about knowing your place in the universe. You live on a planet. The air that you breathe is processed from the plant, and the plant is from the sunlight. So basically, it's like if you add a bit of scientific knowledge in your life, then you just don't see yourself as a soul walking around in a body, and your body is suffering and your soul is suffering. When actually you start to see that you're part of a much, much, much bigger community, much of a bigger whole, then your problem becomes smaller and smaller and smaller. So you see that your difficulty, you get more and more distance. So we still haven't focused on the negativity, but we're focusing on the big, beautiful things of life. And the more you have this, then the more it's easier to deal with whatever you have to deal with. Basically, I'm sure many people will relate to this, but when you feel you're really stuck in a problem, it feels like if you're sitting down on the floor in a dark, humid room, like a cell block. I think we all felt that feeling. So for me, the way I want to help you is, first, I'm going to bring a couch. Second, I'm going to bring a couch. Second, I'm going to drill windows. Then I'm going to bring you a tray of food, Then maybe I'm going to wash you up, give you a nice haircut. Okay. Now, just with that, did I address your problem? No. But just with that, I totally changed your attitude. Already your life is much, much, much better. So that's my approach. You see, there's nothing to do with willpower. There's nothing about could or should. It's all about, often our problem is because we close down in our cell block. But actually my process is actually, no, let's have windows, let's have curtains, let's have this and that, which actually strengthens you. And then at one point, when you strengthen, then you can face your problem, which is for me totally the reverse of the general approach. Focus on the problem. Spend years, tell me your story, tell me your difficulties. No, that's not the way I approach. My approach is totally different. Now, and as you get stronger, then it's become the fourth step, discover your passions. Because now that I've put light in the room, now that I've brought you food, you can actually tell me which food you like. You can actually tell me, well, when you look out the window, what do you like to see? So the more I give you light you could say in your room, then the more actually you can tell me what you like. What would you like to do? What would you like to see? When you focus on your problem, it's almost impossible to find your passion. But when you focus on when you let yourself drink in the good stuff in life, then your passions suddenly they just have room to come out. So we've accentuated the positive. You know more where you're standing in the universe. Now you start to get excited about what you love to do. And the thing about passion is when you find what you love to do, can come step number 5. Find your passion. Find your tribe. Sorry, because it's basically the same thing. Because once you found your passion, if you love to play ukulele, then you're going to find other people who play ukulele. And then when you meet these people, you're going to say, oh, I didn't know there were such lovely people around me. If you like to read, then I say maybe you're going to become part of a readers group. And then you meet these people and say, oh, I never knew this group existed. I didn't know these people existed. So, and that's basically, I don't know if you know Monty Python and the movie Baron Munchausen. And that's one emblematic image in one of his movies where Munchausen was drowning in the middle of the sea. And he basically picked himself up by the seat of his pants and brought himself safe on an island. And this is how I felt when I was in Toronto, when I met you, when I was at the first Canadian Laughter Conference. This is how I felt. I suddenly picked myself from my life in Montreal and suddenly plugged myself down in a new group of people. And then when I went to the AATH, Mary Kay, Barbara, all these wonderful people, Heidi. I mean, I had found my tribe, and this keeps changing my life. Now I'm becoming level 2 academy. In another show, we'll speak about this. Let's finish the list because we're gonna run out. So number 5, finding your tribe. So you see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We still haven't focused on the problem. And that's the beauty of the way I'm doing it. No, we don't need to focus on the negativity. We actually just build and build and build and build. And which is why we end up at step number 6, which is letting go. Because now that we've worked on building yourself up and that you have a beautiful life, your problem suddenly has shrunk so much that now I'll give you tools to actually let go of it. And one of the tools, and you were there at my love workshop at the AATH, is the Ho'oponopono. And, I'd love to talk to you more about this and the Ho'oponopono, but that's just a beautiful tool about forgiveness and stuff like that. So, in a way, my almost last step is forgiveness, is about letting go, which is often the reverse than the other program, which is the first step. The first step is, let go of it. Don't make such a big thing of it. For me, it's the last step, and it's like a leaf, a shine. I don't know how to say that in English. That's one of the only few the oak tree. It's actually one of the only tree that keeps its leaves through the winter. If you look, all the other trees lose their leaf, but the oak tree, why is it one of the strongest wood? Is because the leaves stays on the trees during the whole winter, so the wood has to be very strong to hold the weight of the snow, to fight against the wind so the branches doesn't crack and stuff like that. And when do actually the leaves fall on the oak tree is when the baby leaves push them out. And it's that simple. So it's a very beautiful process of the old falls down when the new is born. And that's a bit what my process is about. I don't want you to give up your old problems. To start, you don't start with that. Your old problem will fall away totally easily when the new growth is behind it and it's just happening. So I focus all the time on the growth. And the last step is reboot and launch. And this is where, for me, I find is the most important. And this is where becoming a love clown, going to the AATH, becoming a professional speaker for companies or for just inspiration and stuff like that, is the idea that once you've embarked on this journey of forgiveness, of building yourself, of becoming finally true to your nature, to your heart, to what you want to achieve in life, then the next step is now you are free to do what you've always wanted to do in your whole life. There's nothing in your way. There's nothing stopping you anymore. Now, I know I don't want to sound idealist and stuff like that, and that's why I always talk about the onion, the peels of the onion. It's like each time you go through the process. So this 1 to 7 process is basically, you could call it a spiral. So each time a leaf from your tree falls down, there's a new growth, and this new growth, now it's time for you to feed it and to become, till you meet your next challenge. And then your next challenge, you just go again through the 7th step, but this time it's so much easier because you already have part of the positive, already part of your strength within you. So basically, it's a very exponential. So first you start very slowly, and then you basically build on what you've achieved. And the beautiful thing is that, I'll finish with this because we're running out of time, and I'm sure some of you will have questions. But this idea is that when you launch into a new direction, you can never know for sure if it's the right direction for you. Okay? And we are in a kind of a society where being wrong, taking a wrong road, means you're a bad person somehow. It means you shouldn't have done that. But actually, it's a process of reboot and launch. Is that each time you launch something, now you really start to understand that you will adapt, you will adjust, and you will reinvent yourself each time you come to a crossroad. So this idea of adapting and adjusting becomes part of your life. So the more flexible you are, basically you never end up in a dark room anymore. You basically become in a room with revolving doors. And then you say, okay, this is my new venture. It has a revolving door. I'll go as far as this is bringing me. And if I find a new door in the end of this new thing, then it's wonderful because I'll go forward. But if this is a dead end, that's okay. It's a revolving door. So I'll just go out, and then I'll just relaunch on another venture. Always keep going.
What I love about your approach, Guy, is that you're right, other approaches have so much accent on the negative that it's just overwhelming to even try them, because all you end up feeling is guilty and bad and all the rest of it. But your approach is so positive, you make it sound like, well, wow, I could do that.
You can do it. Everyone can do it.
It's so motivating. But I also know that you are willing to help people go through your 7 steps. And I'm wondering if you can let people know how, if they're interested in learning more, how can they contact you? How can they get more information?
My name, just Google my name, is Guy, Giard. I'm quite present on the internet. So within Google, you'll find either my clown site, Citizen Clown, or Ukulele. You will find my website, guygiard.com. Also, you're gonna find my site for losing weight. I lost a quarter of my weight, and there's photos of my progression there. So basically, at this point, just my name, just Google my name. That's the easiest way than going to or myname.com. That also can be done. and then Facebook, become a friend on Facebook.
No, I want to thank you so much. And, you described yourself as two things today. One was a change expert, and I couldn't agree more because I feel like the little time that I have known you, you have sparked a change in me, and you certainly are a love clown because you can feel the love emanating off of you, and you are going to have to come back because I feel like there were so many things that we could talk more about, but unfortunately we have run out of time. And so, thank you. You're going to play us out.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Maia. Have a great day, everyone. I love you all.